In this demonstration, we're going to show how customers can embrace cloud-native application development in a variety of instances, whether they're a small customer on a single VMware cluster, all the way through to if they're using infrastructure as a service or even public cloud. Here we see an environment set up on Dell EMC VMware hyperconverged infrastructure that's running Pivotal's Pivotal Cloud Foundry. Pivotal Cloud Foundry is a platform as a service offering from the Dell Technologies family. Here you'll see inside Pivotal Apps Manager an environment that a developer can be given to develop these next generation non-traditional applications. Right? You can see that this environment today is completely empty. What we'll do is go out and go onto GitHub, and using continuous integration, continuous development technologies, actually check out code from a repository and simply, with a handful of commands, push that code to immediately be running in production in a Cloud Foundry instance. And we'll see across the demonstrations of all three of these ecosystems, we don't have to change a single line of code, right? Allowing your use case to be more dictated by business rules as to where you run your application versus technical limitations. Here we're creating a database instance that will back this. And you saw the developers empowered by just using t-shirt sized databases instantly create that, and no IT administrator has to create a service ticket, create a VM, and etc. Here, I actually go and I will authenticate to this instance of Cloud Foundry using my previously known credentials. Right? So Cloud Foundry login at the API endpoint I've set up. I provide the credentials that link to the quoted account that I've already set up and that we saw previously. I go into the demo ecosystem, and there's the API endpoint I'm now targeting. I go into my Git repository, and you'll see there the IoT emulator. This is a next-gen Cloud Foundry cloud-native application. And I actually issue a single command, cf push, Cloud Foundry push. Cloud Foundry then builds with all of the dependencies this package and will push it up and instantly turn it on to be running and accessible inside Cloud Foundry running on my VMware hyperconverged infrastructure. And you'll notice as we go through, again, all three of these instances, this step never changes regardless of what environment I'm developing for. That's a tremendous amount of power. Full application portability is what we're demonstrating here. Once the upload is complete, you'll see that Cloud Foundry automatically creates an endpoint that can start serving that application. It spins up one instance of that and will provide auto scaling and load balancing services as needed. Now when I go out and refresh the applications, you can see the running connected car emulator. You can see that there's one instance of it running today. I could scale that as needed as more demand for this particular application arrived. Here is a sample of what that application looks like. Again, this is just an example application. Right? It's more about the infrastructure on which this application is running. This application provides telemetry tracking of a fleet of vehicles. So as you scale up the number of vehicles, you would want to scale up the application instances of this. Again, this is just an example application. It's more about how easy it was to stand up this infrastructure for these new applications on the Dell Technologies family of gear. Here you can see as I scale this application up automatically, where I simply change that 1 running to 3 running. This is a process that would have taken a very long time on traditional applications, right? Could have been months of refactoring code, but because this was built as a distributed application running on elastic frameworks, you can see that we are already complete with scaling the load of this application 3 times. So that's a 200% growth. Here we move on to doing the same type of demonstration, but this time on our Red Hat OpenStack infrastructure as a service. So the same concept exists, but we're operating inside OpenStack instead. Here we've got the infrastructure that's been already provisioned and is running Cloud Foundry. It's the same code running Cloud Foundry as in the previous instance running on VMware, but this signifies a much larger, more advanced customer that has a full private cloud ecosystem versus just a hyper-converged virtualization stack as in the last demonstration. It's important to know that the Cloud Foundry platform as a service does take up some amount of infrastructure on its own, right? And that's what's providing the framework to quickly stand up these new applications. Here, this is exactly the same experience that you're seeing we saw in the last one. But keep in mind, this is entirely different infrastructure. The user and developer experience is exactly the same. I specify my credentials, I go into the same demo, I have the same GitHub repository. I haven't changed a single line of code in this GitHub repository, and I issue the same exact command, cf push. There's that same application being built. You can see in the background there, app now has a 1 next to it. That was the application that was actually instantiated in the background. And there's the application stood up. There's the running application. And I click on the same endpoint link that I saw in the last one. And voila, the same experience. But keep in mind, we completely changed the entire underlying infrastructure between these two demos. Right? This moved from a small mom and pop shop running just a hypervisor all the way up to a Fortune 50 company running infrastructure as a service. Here we do the same thing, now running inside Virtustream, the Dell Technologies Enterprise Cloud offering. This is running at their demo, in their data center. And again, you're going to see it deliver the same exact type of experience where I stand up in the Redis database as a backend inside my tenant. And here we are. You're going to see the same type of thing where I have the same GitHub repository. I do the same login step. And guess what? I do the same exact cf push command ultimately. Not a line of code changed. You see the application is started just as in the other cases. And now when I go and click on it, note that the URL is out in Virtustream's public cloud, and it's the same exact experience. So here we've demonstrated full application portability across all 3 domains, each one signifying a different class and size customer, all benefiting from the Dell Technologies portfolio. Again, the ultimate message being that your business should drive the location of your application, not technical limitations.